10 drinks over here.
Mic check.
Next.
Ebony on 4.
Check.
Good.
Check.
Yeah.
I
John,
can't really hear.
you can't hear?
I
Check.
mean, that's not a strong check.
Check.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you got to check like
Check.
you about to, yeah, no, like you about to go in.
Sounds the same. Check. Check.
How's that? Can you hear
Check.
yourself?
No, I can't hear.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to give it
Check.
an L.
Check.
Oh.
Check. There we go. Check. Yep.
Okay.
The LL Cool J.
Next show would be perfect for the
John,
rum.
Check.
I'll turn you up a little bit. One more.
Rum.
Check.
One more.
Check.
It'll be a
Good to
music
go.
show.
P. Wills.
Oh.
Are you gonna play hooky from that show?
That's the LL. Oh.
Did you hear me?
1, 2.
I'll play Hoogie from the show.
Yeah.
No, neither.
Did you got a dot of that T on you?
No.
All right.
Do
So
you know,
this is what I'm going to
know
do.
what show I'm talking about though?
I'm going to mute the mics.
Because you did.
When you hear the music,
show.
we're live,
Okay.
and people can see us.
I don't know that.
Yes, you have.
And then we're going to do it's going to be a
Turn it
countdown about 45 seconds. And then after
It's
that
in the
45
back. Turn
seconds,
it
I'm
on
going
in the
to start
Back
talking.
speaker. Turn it on.
You don't have Facebook though. You're not on Facebook, are you? You're not on Facebook. I didn't think so.
All right.
It'll be a double segment. Chat.
YouTube.
Bashiri's gonna be the first half, and then
Switch him.
you think so?
Switch him.
I thought Bashiri might be more of the draw, and then
That's why he should be last. We should do that. The one 20
so?
minutes, and then do a Sherry for like an hour and a half.
Live on YouTube.
Well, we can do it. We can do a reverse
Live
of
on
Bashiri.
YouTube.
I'm playing. I mean, that's up to you. You know, there's something called prime time. Probably gotta do it.
Hello, viewers. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. This is the Gray Area, and this is your boy Ray E.
And this is your boy P. Wills. What's happening?
And this is Ebony. What's going on, everybody?
What's going on? We are live, y'all, and we have a great person here today. Some of you may know him. For those that don't know him, we have State Representative John L. Bartlett here, representing District 95. Thanks for coming, man. How you doing?
Yeah,
Thank you for the invite, and it's good to be here.
Yes.
Good to have you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we know that the primaries are right around the corner. The election is amongst us, upon us, and we need to get the voter education out. We need to let people know not only the importance of voter education. We're going to talk about some House bills. Also talking about community building and how important it is for us to corral together and really take our local elections. Not only national, but the local elections are, your immediate living areas are very important. Yeah, very, very impactful. So we're going to talk about that today. For those who are viewing right now live with us, thank you for tuning in. Please share this live feed with your people, and like the Gray Area Media page, because we're getting ready to talk about a lot of things in regards to the election. So John L. Bartlett, man, I want to give you a chance to not only introduce yourself, but tell our viewers about your district and what you're working on.
Thank you. First off, my name is John Bartlett. I'm State Representative, House District 95. House District 95 demographics are 38th Street on the south, 65th Street on the north, Emerson on the west, and I go out to Carroll Road or County Line Road on the east. In my district, I've got some $1 million homes in my district. I got some folk who are homeless in my district, and so we must work to make sure. Just got to have a meeting with the mayor talking about economic development in that area. Actually, if you look from 56th Street down to 10th Street, from Post Road over to Clifton, we've lost grocery stores, we've lost drug stores, we've lost banks. And we got the processed foods that we're selling and feeding our children, and they can get full, but their minds cannot grow off of processed foods.
That's
you
right.
get a Family Dollar, Dollar General, and the service station. So we need to address that, and I'm working on a project for that.
Sure.
Also, we've lost our banks in the same demographics, and we got payday loan, and the legislature made it okay for payday loans to loan you money at 222%.
Wow, I thought it was 327%.
Well, I think it was, but I think this session they're supposed to lower it to 222. But
Wow.
Still.
yeah. So
That's impossible to pay back.
yeah, and they have you, once you get into that catch,
Yeah.
you there, and so in the affluent areas, they build in new banks, and in our area, they build in payday loans
Yeah. Wow.
So why do you think that is?
because we don't say nothing.
Right.
You know, people do to you what you let them do.
Right.
I'm saying, if I start busting upside your head right now, if you don't stop me, I'm just gonna keep coming.
No mercy.
That's a great way to look at it, man. And you know, in reference when you say that there's a catch in these payday loans, let me explain a little, because I got caught up in that when I was 20 something.
Okay.
And so you go to a payday loan place, and obviously you're there for a reason. You need a little bit of money so that you can pay whatever you need to pay off.
Right.
The problem with payday loans is once you get caught in the cycle of getting the payday loan, they pull direct deposit out of your account. They take the money directly out of your account as soon as you get paid, or you have to pay that as soon as you get paid. And then when you get to the counter and you're getting ready to pay, they say, well, if you don't want us to take this out right now, pay us $50, and then we can extend that for another 2 weeks. So you end up paying $50 every 2 weeks for a whole year to pay back $100 that you had just needed for that one time. So you get caught up in this cycle. So what John is saying is now there's going to be, they can charge up to 220 something percent.
Yeah.
So not only are you getting the loan, you're paying interest on it, and you could get sucked into where you don't have to pay for it every 2 weeks, where you ended up paying. So if you go pay your bill, and would you rather pay this $35 or $50 to keep what you think is you keeping an extra $50 until 2 weeks later, but you're really not. And and then 3 weeks later, you didn't pay them off, you didn't paid your money off, you didn't pay money you ain't even have off. So this payday loan thing is a bad deal, especially in areas who can't afford it.
Absolutely.
Amnesia has a question.
Well, no, I was just gonna ask. I actually wanted Representative Bartlett to continue with what he was saying as far as what he had going on with his House bills and what he had on the floor, because the House, the government, the state is actually in session right now for the 2019 year. So not only do we have the primaries coming up, we also have House bills, Senate bills that are on the floor right now. Representative Bartlett has several that he has put out there on the floor to be voted upon. So Representative Bartlett, if you could share some of the we talked before we started the show about some that you are working on actively, and that you wanted to share with us and our viewers.
Yes, I just as a shout out, I've been since 2010 trying to get seatbelts on school buses, and have not been successful yet. But I'm there until we get seatbelts on school buses.
There aren't
I appreciate that.
seatbelts on school buses?
Not anymore.
It's not mandatory.
What?
You're a grown man. If you pull off this parking lot and don't fasten your seatbelt, the police stop you. You get a ticket.
Right.
You break the law. But yet we put our babies on school buses and send them to school
With no seatbelt.
with no seatbelts. And a young lady that was 5 years old, Dynasty Smith, in my district in 2010, the bus driver, all the students they were like first and second grade,
Sure.
and they were crazy about it. But he literally died driving the bus and hit a concrete pillar in the middle of the street. Dynasty Smith died, and the little young man that was sitting next to her lost his foot. He was 6, she was 5.
Wow.
And so seatbelts would have saved her life and saved his foot. And yet we can't get seatbelts on school buses.
Wow.
Got that bill. Criminal justice. I had a bill to do 2-year summer study on criminal justice. We use the same criminal justice system that we used when Jesse James was robbing trains.
Sure.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And so like I'm thinking, your name's Ed?
Right.
Right, your name's Red, right? So like if Ray makes a mistake
Sure.
and he goes to court, the judge said, Ray, you gotta do 10 years. Once you get behind the wall, if we have psychiatrists, psychologists, other therapists, criminal justice folk, educators behind the wall, and vocations where you can learn vocations, after you reach certain benchmarks, 2, 3, 4 years, then you can go back to the court and apply to the judge, and they commute the balance of your sentence. But now you are ready for society. You can become a productive citizen.
Right.
And the Constitution of the state of Indiana says we will not use Department of Corrections for vindictive punishment, and that's exactly what we do.
Wow.
And so if once we start, I don't know of any criminal justice facility in the great state of Indiana where they rehabilitate. I don't know of one. So that's what we need to do so that we don't have the recidivism rate that we've been having.
Right.
And so when you come out, you're ready for society. Statistics prove 33 to 40% of the people who are incarcerated are not criminals, but have mental health issues. Mental health is a sickness.
Right.
Okay? I'm a cancer survivor. So when they told me I had cancer.
Yes.
Thank you. I was shaking, and don't much scare me, but I was scared.
Yeah.
But I would hate to think because I developed that sickness, I had to go to jail. Mental illness is a sickness, and when you have a mental illness, they take you to jail. And so because we've closed down the Central State and other facilities around the state, and there's no one treating those folk until they go to jail. And so we need to fix that. And
Absolutely.
And let me say this. The legislature or the employees of the taxpayers of the state of Indiana, we walk in, here comes the Honorable John Bartlett, state representative. I'm your employee. I work for you.
Sure.
There's 68,000 people in my district. I am responsible to them. They call me a state representative because my job is to represent the ideology of my constituents. That's the only reason why I'm at the State House.
Sure.
And when I get so big that I can no longer do that, and it's all about me, it's time you vote me out.
Right.
Okay? I don't care who
Absolutely.
you are or what your position is. It's an honor to serve. It's an honor to serve. And when you forget that you're serving people, it's time for you to move on.
Absolutely.
In my district, 6 weeks ago, a lady came to me and wanted to do this. So 6 weeks ago, Miss Abby Vesca and I worked together and with her church. So at 42nd and Post Road, if you're a member of House District 95, you're homeless, can't afford it, on Tuesdays from 10 to 2, you can get your laundry done free.
Nice.
Yeah. And we're working on getting a portable shower there so that you can also shower when you wash your clothes. And see, this is working for the people
Absolutely.
in your district.
Most definitely.
Servant
Absolutely.
leadership. Servant leadership.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we talk about servant leadership a lot. A lot of people don't really value that type of ideology or that leadership method, but that's very important. Like when you're serving the people or serving others, that goes a long way. It builds character. It builds relationships.
When you get so big you can't help the least of these, it's time for you to move on.
Wow.
Absolutely. We see it time and time again, where people become complacent. They get in these positions and they become complacent. We've had a few quality people on our show that are running for a mayor in certain areas and council, city council. And one thing that resonated with me is that they realize that there are people in those districts who aren't doing what they should do, or who became so complacent that they just were there to be there, and not really put out the quality of servant leadership that they should. Why do you think people become complacent when they are in these positions?
In my opinion, ignorance. When you stay in touch with the people that you represent, if Ms. Ebony, if I know you got a flat tire, I'm not going to just walk off and leave you. Okay? So when you are in the trenches with the people that you represent, you're not going to walk off and leave them. That's what I'm saying. But when you just go into meetings and go into dinners and you forget about those, because Ray, I was sharing with you that my dryer went out Wednesday, and you take so many things for granted, even at home.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And until something happens.
Yeah.
And see, these people, I got people in my district deal with this every day.
Right.
And so when you in touch and in tune with those folk, you understand the needs.
Absolutely.
Okay? So I'm working now, the Marsh closed in my district. I'm working now trying to get a grocery store back in there where we can get good and wholesome food to our children and to our parents.
Love it.
Yeah, you can't catch a bus and go shopping. And if you got children, you buy a gallon of ice cream, you get on the bus, time you get back to the crib,
It's melted. Right.
So like we need that neighborhood grocery store. So we're trying to make some things happen in House District 95.
Have you had a chance to visit the store on 38th in Post, Black on A&I?
Yeah, Robert.
Yes, Robert Hurst.
Yeah.
Hurst.
Shout out to Robert.
Yeah. We had a meeting this past Thursday.
Awesome.
And I'm working with him to make some other things happen too for him, and awesome brother,
He
awesome
is.
brother, and
he has healthy food too, and you talked about that processed food.
Yeah.
He has health products, healthy foods at a lower price than Meijer, some of the other stores,
Nice.
that we have to travel just to get to. And I'm hoping that, as I'm hoping that the people in the neighborhood and, the people that, I'm just hoping that we take advantage of the fact that it's healthy.
We'll work, and I've got your contact information, and we'll do some things because there's so much education
Yeah, definitely.
that is withheld from our people.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
And so education is the key. I don't care how you cut it, I just like education is the key. And actually, if you look at education, they're dumbing down education across America.
Sure.
So,
In what ways?
well, now cursive writing is no longer a requirement. I'm saying, and you got, it was an influx of charter schools, so that they could kind of do away with the public school system, because the Constitution describes how the public school works. Okay, so then we had Representative Terry Goodman had a bill to do away with book rental, because the Constitution says we will provide a public education for our students. We couldn't afford to do away with the book rental, but that same session, we did away with the inheritance tax. So you had to inherit $750,000 or more to pay an inheritance tax. We couldn't afford to do away with book rental, but we could afford to do away with that tax.
Wow.
And that's the mindset there.
Wow.
If I might, human trafficking in 2016, it was determined to be a $154 billion a year industry, which I think that figure was low. And the average age was 13 years old.
Human trafficking?
Human trafficking. Now, today, I think the average age is like 10 and a half, and it's like $210 billion a year industry. There's 4 parts of human trafficking. You have the sex trade, you have the slave labor trade, you have the human organ trade.
Yes, and that's huge.
Wow.
Yes. And then along the East Coast now, they're kidnapping girls and they're breeding them and selling the babies.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. I didn't know there were so many different
So,
layers to it.
Because the billionaires are doing this. This is big business. 2 weeks before Hurricane Harvey, they had a bust in Houston. They arrested 250 adults. They recovered 137 women and children.
Wow.
So like you get captured, you walk across the stage, you don't have on nothing but a number, and they bid on you and put you on those yachts and take you. I'm saying.
Like, what are the like the high areas, man, for this stuff to that's going on with this human trafficking? I mean, is it more down south? Is it here? Is it more on the East Coast or what?
It's all over. You keep seeing these babies missing and girls missing. Where do you think they're going?
Wow.
Oh man, that's
and they find them missing, and when they do find them, they floating in a river or somewhere.
Missing organs. And
missing organs. Yeah. You remember the young lady in Chicago? They said she got drunk and stumbled into the freezer.
Right.
Yeah.
oh,
You ever try to open one of those freezer doors?
yeah.
Yeah. And if you drunk,
Right. Right.
Yeah. But at any rate, they found out she didn't have any drugs or alcohol in her system.
Mm-hmm.
But they were gonna cut her open and sell her organs.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And if you Google how much are human organs on the black market,
Big money.
like 568 grand per person.
And it's mainly black people organs, right?
Well, you got melanin in your system, so your organs are worth more.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow. Big business, man. And I mean, go ahead.
But
I'm sorry.
Our children. If you have children, I'm telling you, if you got children, pay attention. Watch those babies, and you need to be careful too, young lady, because like if you are cute, you're prey.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't you
Ebony got hands. So she got hands, she got weapons, but she got feet.
Okay, but see, let me share this with you though.
I mean, you can't just run up on Ebony.
The vans,
funny.
the vans. See, like she's putting groceries in the car, and she waved at the driver. He hits a button, and here's two guys snatch her up, and he takes off.
Okay, and they're going to run into John Claude Van Damme over there.
Not. But that is something though
That
is something though to note because a lot of women. I remember I had put out a post some years ago giving some women tips on just like walking to your car. I already have your keys in your hand. You fumbling around in your purse at the door, looking for your keys. I had read something even with that predators don't even go after women with short hair because it's easier to grab somebody with hair like this.
Wow.
Because you can snatch them up real quick. But I had given somebody tips and somebody joked about it. A couple of people joked about it. I'm like, no, this is serious business.
It truly is.
People don't take it serious until it happened to them, and it's unfortunate that we have to go through that.
The brother in Phoenix, he goes in the service station, and his 15-year-old daughter. It's the guy in the bathroom. He's going to the bathroom, and he looks and sees this guy go in the bathroom behind her.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, did you read that?
Yeah, I read that.
Okay, so
yeah.
like he's thinking she went in the wrong restroom. He go and look, it's the women's restroom. He go, this guy's trying to kick the stall door open.
Oh my God.
He beats the guy to death, and he's doing time.
He's doing time
wow.
for it. Yeah. Crazy, man.
Yeah, but
crazy.
I'd be just like him.
Right. For sure. For sure.
Die for mine, but
Hey, there is no reason when it comes to the kids.
Your human trafficking House bill, how long has that been? How long have you been trying to get that voted?
I introduced it this session for the first time because we've made some, and I've co-authored some human trafficking bills, but a lot of times we do bills, just feel-good bills.
Okay.
So the human trafficking bill, I want to do a 2-year study and then do a comprehensive piece of legislation to make comprehensive policy, given parents rights and just what do we need to do to stop it, and so like I got a good idea. Now bring in those folk who work in that area and let them talk. There's some folk I work with that work in human trafficking, and some of the stories that you read, and I'm not a crier, but one night I was reading a story and about someone and a baby, and I just broke. You know what I'm saying? Because babies are so helpless,
Right.
like, and this was with an 18-month-old baby.
Yeah.
And, you have to kind of get your mindset right, because it'll deal with you.
It seems like when you introduce a Senate bill or House bill, at least just judging from when the things that you have or the bills that you have introduced, there's some intention. It's intentional. You have, like you said, you're putting forth research. There's a reason. There's a connection. But when I go down that list, some of the things I'm like, what does this have to do with the betterment of the state of Indiana, or us as a community? And I'm always asking, and sometimes those things get passed.
Well, Senate Bill 279 was introduced in the Senate, and it came over, and I've been working and talking to every legislator that I could. And Senate Bill 279 wants to try 12-year-olds as adults, and they want to put them in Wabash. Wabash is a maximum security facility. A 12-year-old kid would not make it 15 minutes in that facility. Now, as I understand it, they would all sleep together, but they would eat and do recreation with adults. And
There's some choke points right there.
Yeah, a 12-year-old child just would not survive.
No.
And you think about a 12-year-old child, he's thinking about recess and getting on the playground and video games, and all of a sudden he's in a maximum security facility.
Right.
And I'm doing all I can to kill that bill.
I mean, it
Appreciate you for that, man.
Yeah, and it seems like a lot of these bills are to target us anyway.
I believe that. The charter schools was to, in my opinion, to destroy public schools.
Yes.
Okay. The 56th to 10th Street from Post Road to Clifton, grocery stores, banks, drugstores are leaving that area. So that's us. You drive downtown, they got high rise, they got this, and I said earlier in the show that statistics prove that 33 to 40% of the people who are incarcerated are not criminals but have mental health issues.
Right.
We're building a $586 million criminal justice center downtown.
Wow.
And why didn't we take 10% of that money and put in mental health?
Right.
I wanted to ask you what you thought about the new mental health facility by Community East. What did you think about that?
I've not been in there. It has to be good, because if you have a mental health issue, you have a sickness, and you need some place to go to get help. Now, as I understand it, they're going to build a mental health wing at the Criminal Justice Center. But why should I have to go to jail?
Right. To get help.
Yeah. Now, the 3 largest mental health facilities in America, you know where they are?
Where's that?
New York?
L.A. County Jail in Los Angeles, California. Cook County Jail in Chicago, Illinois. Number 3 is the Dade County Jail in Miami, Florida.
Wow.
Heavily populated by black people.
Right.
Wow.
Crazy, man.
Black and Latinos.
Yeah, but you see, we don't pay attention. It ain't gonna happen to me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so, like, when you of that mindset, that's when things happen to you.
We've had a few people on who are in the mental health field, and they shared with us so many things. Like before they came on, I didn't realize how big mental health was, like what it included. This is regular stuff that if you knew and understood mental health, that you would know that some of your behaviors are not good. But people roll with those behaviors, and then life takes them wherever they go. Instead of being able to get that help. So
there was a credit union used to be across the street from Chevrolet. And I was in there one day, and the man was running down the street naked. Okay, police caught him, and they handcuffed him and took him to jail. Well, that says that when you run down the street naked, I mean, there's some chemical imbalance
something
here.
going on.
Okay, I mean, he didn't hurt anybody,
Right.
but yet he had to go to jail. There's no place else to take him.
Right.
So, like, the policemen, their hands are tied.
Right.
But there's something going on here that you're not hurting anyone. You're not taking from anyone. You know, it's just
Right.
you got
Obviously going, yeah.
Yeah. So like, but we need to address mental health. We truly
Right.
need to do it as a state.
Right.
But let me say this though, voting
Sure.
is huge.
Yeah.
Voting is huge, and I can't stress that enough.
Sure.
Okay. And we need to vet our
Yes, sir.
candidates.
Yeah.
We need to vet our candidates. You know, like I've been in the legislature since 2007. I finished out May Dickinson's last year, and then in 2008 I ran for my own, started running for my own terms.
Sure.
But probably about 8 to 10 times, there's been legislation to come up on the board, and the only red light on the board belonged to John Bartlett. Because I'm not concerned with whether or not you're Democrat or Republican. I'm not concerned whether or not you're black or white, whether you're male or female.
Sure.
If you're my constituent, and I can't explain why I voted for this bill, I ain't voting for it.
Right.
This session, we had a bill, House Bill 1615. Good bill, by a good Democrat, by a friend of mine.
Okay.
Representative out of Evansville offered a bill, and actually, it was a hate crime bill for dogs and cats.
Wow.
And it enhanced the penalty if you hurt a dog or a cat, and I think doubled the penalty if you killed a dog or a cat. And I'm an animal lover. My dad used to train dogs for a living right there, 38th in Illinois. And it was a good bill, but when I went to talk on the bill, I said, this is a good bill, and I have the utmost respect for Representative Hatfield. But as an African American man, I cannot vote for the hate crime bill for dogs and cats when I don't have one for us.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
I said, now when it goes to the Senate and comes back, if we have a viable hate crime bill, I'll vote for this bill here. But right now, I cannot in good conscience vote for this to take care of the dogs and the cats.
Right.
And you leave people out.
Right.
You know, well, some said, well, that was a Democrat bill.
Wow.
You know? So I ain't concerned with that. I'm saying,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
You know,
Right.
and so like, and then some other people voted against the bill because of what I said, and some thought, well, you should have voted against it and not said anything. No, I'm gonna qualify my vote.
Right.
Okay. I'm saying, so,
Right.
yeah.
Why not say nothing?
Yeah. Well, I ain't don't say nothing kind of guy.
Right.
I'm saying,
Right.
that ain't who I am. I'm saying,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that's amazing, man. And it's we hear it so much, and we also see it. Social media is a great thing in this century to me. I think Facebook has done a better job of getting rid of the fake stuff, although there's some still flying around. But generally, I don't see nearly as much crazy websites about crazy things as I used to, and I applaud them for that. And I also believe that social media has done a great job at informing people, kind of like what we're doing, which is getting this out here and introducing them to you and others that have stuff going on, because we realize that people spend more time online and on social media than anything.
Okay.
It went from watching TV all day to scrolling all day, and that's the new thing. So it's important that people get involved, and we're hoping that voter education gets to these people. So what would you say to get people up and off their couches, and to take I don't think you got to take time off, because I think the polls open as early as 6. But what do you say to these people who would rather not do anything?
All politics are local, and it's extremely important that you are involved in the political process. When you vote and you say to those in charge, I don't want potholes on my street, I don't want potholes in my neighborhood. And if I have them, you will not be my mayor next time. Because Ray, if I say to you now, man, let me have $20, you may give it to me,
Right.
although we just met, but you won't know what you're gonna get for your $20.
Right. Right.
But I've been running since 2008, and I run every 2 years. I've never had anyone to ask me, if I give you my vote, what do I get?
Right. They know.
Think about that.
Absolutely.
And your vote is worth so much more than $20.
Right.
And you're questioning your $20, even $10, okay? But you don't question me. I'm coming out telling you I want your vote. Why should you vote for me? And I should be able to explain to you why you should vote for me. Now, in my district, last election, my opponent got 11% of in 2016. I'm sorry, got 11% of the vote. I got 89%. I was trying to figure out who those 11% were, you know, because like I need to talk to them, see how come you're not voting for me? Okay. Sure. Now in 2018, I did not have an opponent, but they said after 2016, no one would take me on. But you have to have the ear and the eye of the people that you represent.
Sure.
Another thing too, in my opinion, the slating process that we use in Marion County disenfranchises voters.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Now, this is not against the Democrat Party.
Sure.
I'm a Democrat. This is not against the Democrat Party because Republicans do the same thing.
Sure.
Excuse me, but we're the only county that have slating. And it's a control, in my opinion, it's a control mechanism.
Sure.
Okay? When all the precinct committee people in House District 95,
Sure.
I know them. I'm tight with them. So, let's say you want to run against me. If you go through the slating process and pay your $1,500, and I pay my $1,500, I know all the precinct committee people and the vice precinct committee people, and that's who votes for you to be slated. What do you think your chances would be?
Slim to none.
Thank you. And so what I'm saying with House Bill 1285, do away with the slating process. Let the voters pick in May who they want to represent them in November. Okay. Now, when you do away and come up with a slating process, people don't go to the polls in May. We become creatures of habit. If you vote in May, so you're my choice. You're my choice to be state representative. And then Ray decides he's going to run against you. I'm going to come and vote for you. And then if you win, I won. So now in November, I'm excited to go and vote for you again to make sure you beat the Republicans. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but like if they do away with this process here, then they're gonna do what they want to do anyway.
Can you explain a little bit more in detail House Bill 1285, what it entails? I know, you know, I know you have it has several components.
Yeah. Well, House Bill 85 I did get a hearing, didn't get a vote on it. But it will make it illegal to solicit or receive money or other properties as a condition that the person, another person, or a political party support or slate a candidate. See, you pay to be slated. To pay money or give other properties in exchange for the support of slating a candidate by a person or political party. Requiring an individual to refrain from seeking the nomination of a political party for an elected office in a primary election if the political party does not slate the individual as a political party's choice for the election. So what they're doing now is when you go to get slated, then you pay your money, but then you sign a document saying, if I don't win slating, I will withdraw my name as a candidate. Okay? And then they notarize it. So we have slating on Saturday. If you didn't win, they submit your paperwork to withdraw your name on Monday. Okay? So to me, if the feds would ever look at it, I think it would be a problem because that's pay to play.
I was just about that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Right.
It's pay to play. Do you get your money back?
I think you get a portion of it
Portion
back.
of it?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
But I just think the process is jacked. Now, in 2018 when I ran, I did not go through slating. Okay. And some people asked me, should they go? I said, yes, because that's the process. Okay. But I'm entrenched. My people know me. My people gonna come out and vote for me. So I can do this. Now, after everything was over, I did pay my slating fee. Okay. Because I do realize that parties need money to operate.
Sure.
Okay. So it's not about the money for me. It's about being fair to the people who you represent. There's 68,000 people in my district. They should have an opportunity to vote me in or vote me out.
Absolutely.
They should have that opportunity. And if we do slating, you disenfranchise those folks.
So, so since I know from at least 2017 that this bill has been circulating, so why do you think it has not moved as far along as it should have? Because, I mean, considering I've seen the Republican slating document looks totally nothing at all like the Democratic document. So, I would think that Republicans would they would see this as a win for them to allow them a I guess I don't know, maybe a fair election, because I mean if I'm a Republican and I know that people aren't slated and I know there are people that maybe not be as popular, that gives me a better chance. That's how I kind of see it. So what's the reason why it hasn't moved further?
The Republican slating process is a lot different than the Democrat. But if we're Republicans over here and you two Democrats are fighting each other.
I see. Yeah. So it works the other way as well.
Got
it.
Wow.
And then of course you have to vie against Democrats.
Right.
To also your
in the primary. Okay, so like the ones that didn't get slated, and there was some stuff that went on this last slating, but the folk who were supporting those people stay at home. Will they not vote? Okay. It's just not a good, in my opinion, it's not a good situation. Okay. Now, did the Democrat Party get upset with me? Yes, they did. Do I care? No, I don't. You have to do what is right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You have to do what is right.
Right.
And being right ain't always popular.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So like, and I expect for them to come after me in 2020. I expect that. Okay.
Sure.
But then I grew up in Brightwood. You know what it is?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in Brightwood. And see, and yes, sir. And one thing I learned there, you can't come to get mine, leave yours at home.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
Enough said.
Absolutely. What do you think? I mean, in regards to the slating, when you say slating, is that Democrats across the board for any position running for Democrat, like council and mayor? Is that for everything?
It's for everything.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah,
It is.
everything in Marion County.
Absolutely.
Yeah, one of our viewers posed a question. She said, what advice would you give to a young people or young person who is considering running for office?
Get involved with the process.
It's a good question.
Get involved with the process. Actually, right now, because some people ask me, should I go through slating? Absolutely, that's the process. That's the process is in place. So until that's changed, that's the one we have to use.
Sure.
But you want to run for precinct committee person. Okay, put your name on the ballot to run for precinct. Get involved with the political process and read.
Yes.
Read.
Read what?
Read everything you can about what's going on in your area, about politics.
Okay.
Yeah. No, and so like when you come and ask me something, and I tell you, well, I ain't sure. Let me get back with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really a good thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You want to run for this office, you should know what that office does. You should know the difference between a city county councilor and a state representative.
Mm-hmm.
There's just certain things you should know, and you should be able to intelligently discuss the office that you're running
Sure.
for. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and what would you do different than what's there now?
Right.
You know, and so like, what do you bring to the table? You know,
Mm-hmm.
so and those are the kinds of things that I would suggest anybody learn what the office is for, learn about politics itself,
Mm-hmm.
and why should anyone vote for you?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you come and ask me to vote for me, why should I vote for you?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if you say, well, you know, I really want to run, you know, bye.
Right.
What platforms are available? You had discussed earlier about somebody or a representative or anybody who's in a political party or running for a campaign should be able to articulate what they want to do and what their motives are in the agenda. But I can't remember, besides this show or and other shows like it, an opportunity or platform for voters to even ask those questions. Are there opportunities that we just don't know of? They aren't advertised. Where are those opportunities?
They're out there, but you almost have to be in the mix to know about them.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what I would suggest,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to run, start knocking on doors.
Mm-hmm.
Start knocking on doors. Let me tell you something. When you walk up and you grab somebody's hand and shake their hand and say, I am so and so and I'm running for this office. Okay, Miss Ebony, why are you running for this office? And you say, well, I don't like, as a city county councilor, it's my job to make sure that these streets are repaired, make sure the street lights are working, make sure that we have what we need in our neighborhoods to make them viable. We need some economic development in our area, not just downtown.
Right.
And so, like, these are the kinds of things that people, and just as a citizen, you know what's lacking in your neighborhood and in your area. Talk about those things.
Okay.
Absolutely. One last question in regards to because a lot of people they see a lot of election stuff. They can't decipher councilman from mayor, from state rep. Can you tell people, just generally, how those levels work?
First level is precinct committee person.
Okay.
Okay, this is the first line you go in, or vice precinct committee person.
Sure.
Okay. Now, in our system, we also have ward chairs who are kind of over the precinct committee people. And then you have a county chair who's like over the ward chairs. But once you leave precinct committee person, you can run for advisory board in a township. You can run for city county council. You can run for state rep. You can run for state senator. The advisory board in that township, they do the budget. They do the finances for the trustee and the small claims court judge. So then, if after you come off the advisory board, you may want to run for trustee. If you have a law degree, you may want to run for small claims court judge. Also, there's a constable. You got the township constable. Then you may want to run for city county council, which you're the voice between the city of Indianapolis or Marion County and your neighborhood.
Yeah.
So your councilmatic district, you're responsible for that. So like, and you have to develop a relationship with other councilors and with folk out of the mayor's office to make sure these things are done or fixed in your neighborhood. And then, as a state representative, we have 100 state representatives in the great state of Indiana, and we go from any place like 62 to 68,000 per per district.
Mm-hmm.
I got, I think, 68,351, I think, is in my district. But you represent those folk on a state level and anything like school budgeting, school funding.
Mm-hmm.
You anything, any part of the budget for the state of Indiana, you deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
And then you make policy for the great state of Indiana. And see, like this criminal justice reform is something we really need to take a look at, because
Absolutely.
it's going to keep a lot of African American men on the street rather than in
Yep.
you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like, and then too, if someone does make a mistake and they don't have to do those 10 years, they can get in there and get straightened out,
Mm-hmm.
get the mental health that they need or mental health that they need, and then come back and be a productive citizen. See, so there's a lot of things about
Absolutely.
yeah.
Thanks for breaking that
Yeah.
down, man. You know, a lot of people hear those different titles and they don't understand how they work and you know where they fit in. So it's good even for myself to hear those levels and see how they operate, because we have had people come in that who are representing some of the same districts, you know, whether it's mayor or a councilman or a state rep, and it's good to see, you know, can you explain briefly how they work together to get things passed?
Well, one of the things, we just met with the mayor, one of the things that came out in the meeting is the neighborhood liaisons needs to be in touch with state reps, because like when we're in session like we are now, like out of the mix,
Sure.
you know, because you're dealing with bills, and then some bills are thick, some are, you know, not so, but you just have to pay attention to what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
And as a state rep, the whole state of Indiana, I'm concerned.
Sure.
As a city county councilor, you have to be, although you represent a district, you have to be worried about the whole county. We're working on a project now with Gary, Indiana, to bring some economic development into
Absolutely.
Gary. Okay, and so like I was on the summer study committee, and I've been working with that Bluffington Harbor up there. You know, if we can expand that, it's really going to be huge for Gary and for the state of Indiana, because you bring in another tax revenue.
Absolutely.
So and we need to hold taxes down for folks. One, I don't know how much time I got, but one last thing I do want to mention is a pilot program that I put together, and didn't get a hearing on it this year, but it went to the education committee, and I think that was the wrong place for it anyway. And hopefully next year we can get it in family, children, and human affairs. But the pilot program is I want to do about 10 to 12 zip codes.
Okay.
But if you are a parent and you have at least one child,
Mm-hmm.
and you're receiving public assistance, want to take a 6 to 9 month period and take you off of public assistance. I don't care if it's Medicaid, SNAP, TANF, take you off, and the 6 months want to phase you off. But we want to pay you $23.15 an hour. And that's what we got. I got it figured that we calculate for 40 hours.
Okay.
But you have to be a full-time student. You have up to 4 years. We'll do this for 4 years.
Forever. He had that. Yeah.
We had to get our parents back involved with the children.
Mm-hmm.
So you are acclimated now into the education.
Sure.
See, you're doing homework. So like you got to do your homework, because you got to keep this 2315 to come. So Junior can't go out and play because you got your homework done.
Right.
Right.
No, but no. Come on, because you got to do yours.
Right.
I'm saying so like
it
it changes the mindset. Okay.
Engagement.
And we put out to 2315 an hour for 40 hours for 4 years. But then that SNAP, that TANF, and that Medicaid that we were paying for as a state, we no longer have to do that.
Right.
Plus, now I got some pride. You know,
Absolutely.
like I got a paycheck coming in. I've learned I'm a certified welder. Okay.
Right.
See, I'm making $54 an hour.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a heavy equipment operator. Okay. I'm RN. Okay. And these are where they have shortages.
Sure.
Yes.
And if you hit those low income zip codes, and you can make those folk productive citizens.
Man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And that's like Ebony said. I'm glad to hear that, because I've been working on this piece of how to get parents engaged, and usually it's financial situation
Mm-hmm.
where they can't afford to be engaged in the kids. But in this program that you're presenting, I believe that that's possible. Not only are they making a great wage, $23 an hour,
Yeah, that's
you
good.
get a trade,
Mm-hmm.
you're involved in your kids' education. What more can you ask for? I mean, it's right there. So, and we'll wrap it up after this. So, where do you see that going? You said you presented it in one area, but you'd rather present it in another. Can you explain why?
Actually, what happened was I didn't get a hearing on it, which is not uncommon, because Republicans have a supermajority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so like, you have to kind of work your bills.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So like, but I'll get it done next year.
Okay.
And I talked to some Republicans about it, and they like it.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I'm gonna get a couple of them to co-author the bill next year, and we'll get some movement on it. But to me, empowering folk.
Absolutely.
So like,
Absolutely.
yeah.
There's some people that's been on
Yes.
these programs for 6-7 years, and here you have a program to get them on less years.
Well, 18, 20 years. You know
Ooh.
what I'm saying? Yeah.
Woo.
See,
A whole lifetime.
But then we took hope away from so
Yeah.
Sure.
many folk. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And like when you have in 2017, I authored a bill to put prayer back into schools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and got a hearing. The Democrats fought me on that, but it's not a mandatory prayer.
Sure.
Teachers can't lead it. But
Mhm.
if a student goes to a teacher in the state of Indiana now and says, I want to pray, the school has to provide a time and a place for that child to pray.
Yes.
If it's a group of them, they have. But you see, I didn't want a lot of lawsuits for the schools.
Sure.
So if you say that it's an organized prayer, as a teacher, what prayer do you pray? Do you pray a Christian prayer? Do you pray a Catholic prayer? Do you pray Jewish prayer? Do you pray? So it's so many different kinds
Sure.
of religions in America. So
Yeah.
you don't want to force a child to.
Right.
So like, if those children or a child or children come and say, we want to go and pray, school has to provide a time and place for it, and things truly changed once they took prayer out of schools.
Mhm.
I mean, truly changed, because when they took prayer out of schools, like talking in class, chewing gum in class, not putting trash in the trash can, running in the halls,
Mhm.
hollering in schools were your top discipline items.
Sure.
Now it's drugs, it's violence,
Do you
teen
think prayer
pregnancy.
just left the home, and that's why we have those problems?
Well,
That's a
you
good question.
as a child, you get it in three places.
Mhm.
You get it at home,
Mhm.
you get it at school, and you get it at church.
Mm-hmm.
So if I miss it at home, I get it at school and church.
Mm-hmm.
If I miss it at church, I get it at school and home.
Mm-hmm.
But if I don't get it at home and don't go to church, everything's left on the school.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Wow.
I kind of
That's
feel.
some
I
things to
kind of
think.
feel a certain way. Like it kind of feels like it's our responsibility
Yeah.
in education to. I kind of feel like education should be the reinforcement versus the foundation
Absolutely.
for things that should be done at
Mm.
home.
Okay, that's why I want this pilot program.
Okay.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, State Rep
Yeah.
John Bartlett, man, this has
Appreciate
been
you, man.
awesome,
Mhm.
educational.
My man.
Yes.
We appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. You told me earlier, man, it was one of them days.
I know, right? I know, right?
You all started
Yeah.
at 1:30.
Yeah.
Well,
In the
actually,
afternoon.
with the governor's prayer breakfast was at 7.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. So,
You ain't had to sit. You ain't been able to sit down till now.
and I had some meetings after that, and then we went in at 1:30. But then, like,
Wow.
it is what it is.
Well, we
It is,
appreciate
it is.
you
We definitely appreciate you,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You're
Time
doing.
out.
Appreciate you coming.
come and educate the
Yeah.
community, and
Yeah.
I know I've learned a lot.
Yeah, absolutely,
Definitely
man.
learned a
You're
lot.
doing a
Yeah.
lot of great work in the community, and again, there's just people who don't know. Even myself,
Yeah.
who hadn't heard of any of this, and I'm just excited now. So I'm hoping that this motivates other people out there to see that there's people working on their behalf.
Yes.
So we got to do our part
Yeah,
and get to the polls.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely.
So thank you for coming.
all right, thank
We appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah, thank you.
We want to. Abby, you want to close it out?
Well, I just wanted to thank the viewers for
Yeah, shout out to the viewers.
yes,
Appreciate
for being
y'all for tuning in.
engaging and having great questions.
Mhm.
Sorry we didn't get to all of the questions. Because Kimberly Ewing had a really good question on. She wanted to know because she said, "Young people truly learn from seasoned politicians. Do we have a mentoring program for our young people interested in
Can
politics?"
we answer that? Yeah, we answer.
We do not.
Yeah, I was hoping we.
Do not. That's a real quick answer right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I will say
Well,
this.
we need one.
Some of the folk
Or several.
in Lawrence Township
Mm-hmm.
will call me and ask me, will you meet with me? Will you talk to me? And my answer is always yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it's about.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
I imagine
Yeah.
some people are too busy,
Yeah.
you know, to counsel.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one young lady called me and asked me if I would sit down and talk with her, and she was going to run for city county council.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I already have a candidate that I'm supporting, but I will talk to you anyway.
Absolutely.
And so, but I wanted to be upfront with her.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And then she said, after everything's over, can we talk again? Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely,
awesome,
yes.
man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
beautiful.
Appreciate that, man. And
Need
that's
more like
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
We
Yeah,
do.
yeah, that's the
Absolutely.
kind of leadership that
Servant
we
leadership.
gotta
Mm-hmm.
have. You know, so thanks again, man, for doing what you do.
Appreciate you.
You are appreciated on many, many levels.
Yeah.
And if we can
And,
help in any way,
and
man,
yeah,
let us know.
that's it,
Yeah.
right there. If
Yeah.
we can help, let us know, and we'll do this again.
Sound like one of me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. We definitely appreciate y'all. Anytime you all get a chance to, please share this feed, like the page. You know, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, other places coming for the live. So visit our website at www.thegrayareamedialive.com, and just to continue to support us. Thanks again, and we will see you all next week. Peace.
Thank you so much.
Awesome,
I-
awesome,
I
awesome.
know you're I know you're ready to go home getting that lazy boy.
Lazy boy.
Chill out.
Representative Bartlett,
Yes,
you had a
ma'am.
lazy boy.